John Bolton, the fired national security advisor, hired Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman as a Ukraine policy specialist in July 2018. Bolton also handpicked Mira Ricardel as his deputy national security advisor, who turned out to be loud and obnoxious. She attacked Melania Trump's staffers and was fired. That led Bolton to employ Vindman in a sick scheme to hurt the First Lady. However, what happened next will blow your mind. Don't miss this. John Bolton, First Lady Melania Trump, Alexander Vindman, photo credit, YouTube/screenshots. When John Bolton was hired as President Donald Trump's national security advisor, most Washington, D.C. insiders were shocked. Bolton's reputation as a warmonger and a neocon was the opposite of Trump's doctrine for foreign policy. Someone had gotten to the president and assured him Bolton would behave. What no one could have predicted was that Bolton's ego and his need for revenge would lead to President Trump's impeachment. That's right, new information has come to light, and now we know it was Bolton who got Vindman to leak Trump's July 25 phone call to the whistleblower. It all started over Bolton's need to get revenge on Melania Trump. The beginning of the impeachment scheme starts with the firing of Mira Ricardel. Ricardel's exercises and Attila the Hun's management methods were so over the top that they attracted the displeased attention of First Lady Melania Trump, who took the rare step of publicly calling for Ricardel's dismissal. Ricardel had denigrated and disparaged members of the First Lady's staff, American Greatness reports. Insiders describe a standoff inside the White House where Bolton was refusing to fire his mini-me. However, when the former UN ambassador was away on a trip in November 2018, Ricardel was shown the White House door. This incident illumined in high relief that Bolton's loyalties are never to his superiors but always to himself and to others only so long as they remain his sycophants, American Greatness adds. It was at that point that the president realized hiring Bolton was a huge mistake. Unfortunately, the bigger problem for Trump has been finding advisors who are not swamp creatures. Also, it was evident Bolton was not going to let the firing of Ricardel go, so keeping him close seemed like the smart move. Bolton, seeking revenge on Melania Trump, then utilized his two pet swamp creatures. What better way to get back at the First Lady than to embroil her husband in a huge scandal that could lead to his impeachment? In July 2018, 3 months or so after becoming President Trump's national security advisor, Bolton hired both Army Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman as a Ukraine policy specialist for the National Security Council and his identical twin brother, Army Lieutenant Colonel Yevgeny Vindman, as Deputy Legal Counsel in the NSC's Ethics Office. Anyone who has been involved in national security affairs in Republican administrations since 1981 knows that it is impossible that the Vindman brothers were given sensitive jobs in Bolton's NSC without Bolton having become assured of their usefulness and loyalty to Bolton and his agenda. Both the Ukraine policy and the ethics attorney slots are of vast personal priority to Bolton, American Greatness concludes. Without authorization, Alexander Vindman reported his jaded view of President Trump's July 25 phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to friends in the State Department and intelligence agencies whom Vindman, unilaterally and going over the head of his superiors, asserted had a need to know. This led directly to the whistleblower complaint that ignited the impeachment hoax. All of this happened under the all-seeing eye of John Bolton. President Trump fired the disgraced Bolton on September 10. During the week that followed, the whistleblower complaint emerged in the news, at first, connected to a communication between President Trump and an unidentified foreign leader. On September 18, The Washington Post reported that Trump had made some kind of promise to the foreign leader. On September 19, the IC Inspector General gave a secret briefing to Schiff and other congressional leaders. The same day, The Washington Post reported that the whistleblower complaint involved Ukraine. The Vindman twins, who Bolton hired, allegedly commit perjury and leaked to the New York Times. We all know about Alexander Vindman's probable perjury in his October performance in front of the House Intelligence Committee. Vindman had sworn in a deposition that he did not know the whistleblower. When, in an open hearing, Rep. Devin Nunes asked Vindman to identify the specific agency within the intelligence community employing the person with whom he had shared his version of the Trump-Zelensky call. Schiff interrupted the proceedings to say that Vindman was not allowed to answer the question because it would out the whistleblower. Alex's twin, Yevgeny Vindman, reportedly is the NSC staffer given charge of reviewing John Bolton's self-sanctifying memoir manuscript, which somehow leaked to the New York Times last week. The American people have John Bolton, and only John Bolton, to blame for the presence of the self-serving Vindman twins on the NSC staff. The trio of traitors believes they are heroes. Well, the truth has a funny way of turning so-called heroes into zeros, who are loyal only to the swamp, not to the American people. Let's block ads. Why?